let's check out some guys that went off last weekend. We got to start with Santiago's Brendan Bixler, who had himself a game. It does help when you got Alabama commit Blake Barnett throwing you the rock, but Mr. Bixler, 13 grabs, 294 yards, and also took it to the house twice. Brendan Bixler went off.
Yeah, speaking of top quarterbacks, you may look at St. John Bosco and think Josh Rosen, but he's not the only playmaker on that field. Their running back, Sean McGrew, he went off with 26 carries, 386 yards, and 5 TDs. Zach, he had 3 TDs that went over 60 yards. Sure, you want to not put 8 or 7 guys in the box. That's fine. Mr. McGrew will go off, and Zach, he definitely went off.
And speaking of running backs who went off last weekend, how about Joseph TIATIA? 26 carries, 386 yards, that's cute. 456 yards for TIATIA. Also took it to the house 6 times, 17.5 yards per carry last week. It's the 3rd straight game he's had at least 200 yards and 2 TDs. Mr. TIATIA went off.
All right, this next guy, we should just leave an open spot for him each week. Austin KAFENTZIS, each and every week. The man just knows how to put up numbers. 496 yards passing, 6 TDs, and 27 carries for 196 yards and 4 TDs. That's Colin Kaepernick style.
Russell Wilson.
Okay, I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's more Cap style. Mr. KAFENTZIS always is a guy we say went off. All right, from some players who went off to some teams that just absolutely put up some numbers. We're going to start in California with this crazy game between Tennyson and Castro Valley. The final score, Zach, 85-77.
Wow.
I'm sure several players in that game went off. Tennyson alone put up more than 800 yards on offense. If you paid to get into this game, Zach, you didn't leave bored.
Money well spent.
Yeah, you stayed for the whole game as it came down to the end. 85-77. We'll say both teams went off.
And speaking of teams that went off, let's head out to Ohio. Columbian and Shelby maybe put on the game of the year in the state, 83-82, and it also went to overtime. And this one features both a crazy shootout, but also a dude that went off. Columbian 6-foot, 195-pound running back, Cliff Miller, 500-plus yards rushing, and he had 10 touchdowns all by himself. And of course, it went to overtime. They were down 82-81. Guess who got the rock for the game-winning 2-point conversion? Boom, Mr. Cliff Miller, 83-82. I mean, that's just a crazy shootout. And these two were 2 of 4 games that both teams scored at least 70 points last week. I hope this weekend is just as good as last week. It started out on a high note in yesterday's game with DeSoto and Cedar Hill, 65-42. And the game was a lot closer than the score indicated.
Yeah, a lot of the offense doing their thing.
Yeah.
The dang D is not doing well.
Yeah, so you're not sleeping happy at nights when the defense is playing like that.
No.